Did you know that one of history's most pivotal figures, Napoleon Bonaparte, started his life on the small island of Corsica, far from the power centers of Europe? Born in 1769, Napoleon's early years were far from extraordinary. Corsica, a rugged and isolated island, was the backdrop of his childhood, where he was born into a relatively modest family of minor Italian nobility. Yet it was here that the seeds of his ambition were sown. At the tender age of 9, Napoleon was sent to mainland France for his education, where he developed his love for knowledge and military strategy. As the French Revolution erupted, Napoleon, a young and ambitious artillery officer, saw an opportunity. Through a combination of strategic brilliance and sheer audacity, he rapidly rose through the ranks of the French military, making a name for himself in the chaotic world of revolutionary France. From these humble beginnings, Napoleon would rise to become one of the most influential figures of the 19th century. Napoleon's genius wasn't limited to the battlefield. His strategic acumen extended to the political arena as well. This brilliance was first showcased in the coup of 18 Brumaire. In November 1799, Napoleon overthrew the French government known as the Directory and replaced it with a new political structure, the Consulate. With this move, Napoleon placed himself at the helm of French politics, becoming the first consul of France. His political savvy didn't stop there. Napoleon effectively used propaganda to portray himself as a savior of the French Republic, an image that resonated with the French people, weary from years of revolution and political chaos. He consolidated his rule, introducing a central bank, educational reforms, and a new legal system, the Napoleonic Code, which forms the basis of much of the civil law in Europe today. In 1804, Napoleon ascended to the apex of power. In a ceremony of great pomp and splendor, he crowned himself Emperor of the French at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. In doing so, he replaced the French Republic with the French Empire, with himself at the helm. Napoleon's rise to power, however, was not solely based on political maneuvering. His military campaigns, his Grand Armée marching across Europe, from the sun-baked plains of Spain to the icy steppes of Russia, reshaped the continent. He won stunning victories, such as at Austerlitz in 1805, where he defeated the combined forces of Austria and Russia. His innovative strategies and tactics revolutionized warfare, earning him a place among history's greatest military tacticians. But his ambitions didn't stop at Europe. He envisioned a global French empire with colonies in the Americas and a strong presence in Africa and the Middle East. His Egyptian campaign, though ultimately unsuccessful, opened the door to a deeper European understanding of ancient Egyptian culture and history. His quest for empire, however, would lead to years of war and conquest. But every rise has a fall, and for Napoleon this came at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. A clash of titans, the Battle of Waterloo marked the end of the Napoleonic Wars and the beginning of the end for Napoleon Bonaparte. Under the command of the Duke of Wellington and Prussian Field Marshal Gebhard Leberecht von Blücher, the Allied forces outmaneuvered and defeated Napoleon's Grande Armée. This loss was cataclysmic for Napoleon. His previously invincible aura was shattered, his military genius called into question. The once vaunted Emperor of the French was forced to abdicate his throne for the second time. Yet his trials were far from over. Napoleon was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic, a stark contrast to the grandeur of his former empire. Here on this wind-swept island, Napoleon spent the last 6 years of his life. He was a world away from the pomp and circumstance of his reign, a far cry from the glittering court of the Tuileries Palace or the victorious battlefield triumphs. His once opulent surroundings replaced by the rugged landscapes of St. Helena, his courtiers and generals swapped for a small retinue of loyal followers. He filled his days with reading, writing, and reflecting on his past. He dictated his memoirs, filled with grand narratives of his campaigns, his victories, his vision for France and Europe. Yet even in these writings, the reality of his downfall was never far. He was a fallen emperor, yearning for a past that was forever out of reach. Napoleon Bonaparte, the man who had once held the fate of Europe in his hands, passed away on May 5th, 1821, confined to the remote corners of the world he had once sought to conquer. His death marked the end of an era, the final chapter in the life of one of history's most enigmatic figures. Napoleon's final years were spent in obscurity, far from the empire he had built. Yet, Even in exile and death, his legacy endured, his name echoing through the annals of history, his story a testament to the heights of greatness and the depths of downfall. Despite his defeat, Napoleon's influence didn't end with his exile. His indomitable spirit, strategic acumen, and visionary reforms continued to echo through the corridors of time, shaping the world as we know it today. His most enduring legacy, perhaps, is the Napoleonic Code, a comprehensive legal framework that redefined civil law. This revolutionary piece of legislation, formerly known as the Civil Code of the French, was a blueprint for modern governance. It emphasized equality before the law, safeguarded private property, and secularized civil affairs. Despite being over 2 centuries old, its principles continue to underpin legal systems across the globe. But Napoleon's influence wasn't limited to the realm of law and governance. His administrative reforms, including the introduction of standardized education, the metric system, and a centralized bureaucracy, were transformative. They not only streamlined governance, but also fostered a sense of national identity among the French. Beyond these tangible reforms, Napoleon's cultural and symbolic legacy is equally significant. His life story, a tale of humble beginnings, meteoric rise, and dramatic fall, has captivated the imagination of generations. He has been immortalized in countless books, films, and artworks, becoming a symbol of ambition, resilience, and the human spirit's indomitable drive. Moreover, Napoleon's military strategies continue to be studied in military academies worldwide, his genius a subject of endless fascination and analysis. His innovative use of artillery, emphasis on speed and maneuverability, and ability to inspire his soldiers have left an indelible imprint on military doctrine. In the end, Napoleon Bonaparte remains a complex and controversial figure. Some see him as a champion of liberty and a modernizer who pulled France out of the chaos of the Revolution. Others view him as a ruthless conqueror whose insatiable thirst for power plunged Europe into decades of war. Regardless of these differing perspectives, one thing is indisputable. His indelible mark on history ensures that his name will be remembered for generations to come.